A pleasant day, our dear listeners. Me, Micaela Enero, and my group partner, Mr. Marvin Ramirez from BED2C, will report about our topic, the music of the Chinese. Throughout the long history of China, the Chinese people have been creating music that is attuned to their complex cultural needs. In the developmental process, Chinese music has profoundly influenced adjoining religions, while in turn absorbing musical elements from neighbors. We will explore this musical history and development, instrument and genres, regional variations, and contemporary Chinese music. This is the history of Chinese music. The early history of the music of Chinese happens from 8000 to 500 BC. Music began in China 1000s of years ago as evidenced by excavations in Henan uncovering bone flutes dating back 8,000 years, and clay music instruments in Xi'an dating back 6,000 years. The Zhou dynasty from the 10th to 7th century BC established a formal system of court and ceremonial music, later called Yayu, meaning elegant music, which embraced the concept of music as a cosmological manifestation of sounds found in nature and integrated into the dual universal order of yin and yang. Correct music in the Sao concept involved instruments connecting the five elements of nature: water, fire, earth, air, and space or emptiness, and bringing harmony to nature. During this time, Chinese music established a foundation built on the five-pitch pentatonic scale and was in fact derived from the musical concept cycle of fifths theory. Chinese philosophers approach music differently. Confucius believed that correct music was important for the growth and civil refinement of the individual. The entire Confucian philosophical system considers formal yayu music to be morally uplifting and a symbol of a good ruler and stable government, while other popular non-yayu forms of music were considered to be corrupting influence. Another famous Chinese philosopher, Mozi, condemned music and argued that it was an extravagance and indulgence that served no usefulness for society and may actually be harmful. From Qin to Kang dynasty, which dated from 500 BC to 1900 AD, other Asian instruments and musical styles, such as the erhu and the pipa from Central Asia and the heptatonic scale from India, were introduced in subsequent dynasties. The uber-famous Chinese instrument, the qin, became famous during the Tang dynasty, which dated from 618 to 907 AD, while European music arrived in China as early as 1601 when a harpsichord was given to the Ming imperial court by a visiting Jesuit priest, who also trained several eunuchs to play it. In the year 1912 to 1949, which is the history of the Republic of China, symphony orchestras played to a wide audience in the concert halls of most major cities, and on the newly invented radio, many musicians added jazz influence to traditional music through the addition of xylophones, saxophones, and violins, among other instruments. In Shanghai, a popular genre of music called shidakyu, which is a fusion of Chinese and Western popular music, emerged in the 1920s and dominated the Chinese music scene for 3 decades. In the 1940s, a large-scale campaign was initiated in the communist-controlled areas of the country to use folk music to create revolutionary songs and through these songs, educate the largely illiterate rural population about the party. One example is the song "The East is Red," a folk song from northern Shanxi which has adapted into a nationalist hymn. However, in a telling sign of times to come, music regarded as superstitious or anti-revolutionary were repressed. The golden age of Shidaku came to an end when the Communist Party denounced Chinese popular music as yellow music, loosely translated to pornography, as Mao saw pop music to represent a decline in Chinese society. In 1949, after the Kuomintang relocated to Taiwan and the People's Republic of China was established, revolutionary songs become the most popular and dominant form of music since the government heavily promoted them as the only acceptable genre. After many years, they came to mostly define mainland Chinese music, and in some ways still do today. In 1989, a new fast-tempo Northwest Wind style of music became popular among some groups of protesters, and this music would progress into Chinese rock, which gained popularity in the 90s. However, the government did not support this new form of music and thus limited the exposure and airtime of the Chinese rock genre. And now let's proceed to the types and styles of music. There are many ways to categorize Chinese music, but in a general sense, they can be divided into folk music and opera. While both genres will sound vastly different from music produced in the West, Chinese folk music is somewhat similar to Western folk music as both can evoke the flavor and local culture and have a great degree of focus on instrumentation instead of voice and lyrics. Chinese opera, likewise, is similar to Western opera that is largely focused on vocalization with light instrumental accompaniment. The voice truly takes center stage, although the overall style and sound of music opera is vastly different. Folk music. Folk music usually played in ensembles or by large orchestras in the same way European classical music has traditionally been played. And now we will study about the Chinese musical instruments. Chinese orchestras mainly use woodwinds, percussion, bowed strings, and pluck and struck strings. Woodwind is a type of Chinese musical instruments. There are around 15 different woodwind instruments in China, which mainly refer to bamboo instruments. The more popular are dizi, suwana, guan, paishao, huluzi, and sheng. As you can see, dizi is a bamboo flute with membrane, and suwana is a double-reed wind instrument with a wide metal bell at the end. Another woodwind instruments are the guan and paishao. Guan is a cylindrical double-reed wind instrument made of either hardwood or bamboo, while the paishao are panpipes. Hulusi are free-reed wind instruments with 3 bamboo pipes inserted through a ground wind chest. One pipe has finger holes and the other 2 are drone pipes. Sheng is a free-reed mouth organ made with bamboo pipes inserted into a chamber with finger holes. And now, we will be discussing about percussion. There are a mind-boggling over 75 different percussion instruments in Chinese music. They take the form of wood, stone, metal, skin, clay, and even cord. A few of the more popular are paigu, gong, and cymbals. Under the percussion instruments is the paigu. Paigu is a set of 3 to 7 drums played with sticks. The other one is lu. Lu is a flat, circular metal disc which is hit with a mallet. Lastly is the cymbals. Cymbals are slightly concave round brass plate that are either struck against another one or struck with a stick to make a ringing or slashing sound. Here we have the bowed strings. There are almost 50 different bowed string instruments in China. The more popular are erhu, songhu, banhu, jinghu, and gehu. Erhu are two-stringed fiddle, and songhu are low-pitched true-stringed fiddle. Banhu are two-stringed fiddle with a coconut resonator and wooden face, while jinghu is a high-pitched two-stringed fiddle. Lastly, for bowed strings, gehu are four-stringed cello-like bass instrument